Hey everybody, it's Carm here, coming to you on a Friday evening. I have a few new finds here. I think I mentioned when I did the Frippinino video, found a bunch of other things along with that album, mostly jazz records. But first I want to show a couple things I got for my birthday. Had a birthday yesterday, and my folks, my brother and his girlfriend took me out to dinner, and it was wonderful. I had a great time. And my brother gave me some records. He knows I'm difficult to shop for as far as my taste because they're so, far out there. But figured the best bet would be comedy records, and he knows what I like there. Richard Pryor, Is It Something I Said, from 1975. Yeah, along with George Carlin. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorites. Real happy about this. And Cheech and Chong, Los Cochinos. Always good fun. I'm sure some of you know this, seeing how this goes. Like that. A lot of fun. Yeah, I think this is from '73. Yeah, they're always a riot. Yeah, my brother and I don't share a lot of the same musical taste, but comedy, we're pretty close. So Nikki, if you're watching, thanks again. And I'll get in with the stack here. It's from a shop called Reckless Records. These are the various locations. I was at went to the top one, the one on Broadway. For those of you, anyone from Chicago who's watching, I'm sure know of the place. And I'll save the best for first in this case, because I was so excited to find this record. A great artist who, just a master artist. Robbie Basho, art of the acoustic steel string guitar, 6 and 12. I know John Fahey and Leo Kottke, rightfully so, are considered great innovators of solo steel string guitar, but I think to me Robbie Basho, for me personally, resonates deeper, and I think he really took the instrument in directions that I don't think have been touched since, really. I mean, maybe a few have come close from what I've heard, but he was so original. Far Eastern, Indian raga music, Oriental scales, even some blue, folk and traditional Americana, folk and blues mixed in there, Native American, all these different approaches he assimilated into his own way of playing, which is just masterful. This is a reissue of the 1979. Came out originally on Windham Hill, and the reissue is on Gnome Life Records. But just wonderful. The Grail and the Lotus, Pasha 2, Study for Steel String, Heaven, India. Yeah, it's you really have to hear it to believe it. I would really recommend, if you're curious about his music, sample something from this, or Bashovia, which is a compilation, which was where I first heard him, I think in the very late 90s. But just no one quite like him. He occasionally sings, and it's acquired taste, but he has an incredible amount of vibrato, and his singing voice is as distinctive as his guitar playing. But I'd really recommend looking him up. He's just no one quite like him. So I was thrilled to find this. The next one here I didn't even know existed, the title. Paul McCandless, Navigator. One of my favorite. He's a multi-woodwind player. Saxophone, oboe, bass clarinet, and excellent lineup there. You have Jay Clayton on vocals, Ross Trout guitar, Steve Rodby bass, Paul McCandless, and I forget his name. Sorry, David Samuels. Should know that. Excellent album. Kind of a chamber, a combination of jazz, chamber, a little bit of classical. There's no conventional drum kit in the album. It's just Dave Samuels plays some percussion, but it just has a really nice kind of free-floating feel about it. Some of them have collaborated with Fred Simon, who's a local piano player, and it has kind of a similar feel with that kind of music. yeah, but just would highly recommend if you see this around. I never even knew about this. As far as I know, he doesn't have a great deal of solo work out. Not a whole lot of solo albums under his own name, but I was very happy to find it. This next one, I guess, could be considered maybe like a 80s fusion supergroup. Players. T. Lavitz on keyboards, Jeff Berlin bass, Steve Smith drums, and Scott Henderson on guitar. Yeah, real nice. Yeah, 80s fusion. Fairly bluesy at times, but a pretty good representation of each musician. I was only vaguely familiar with T. Lavitz, but Steve Smith is in a group called Vital Information, which I've seen live several times, and they're an excellent group. And they played with Journey too in the early days. I think maybe in the early '80s. But I think most of these records were between $1 and like $1 and $5. This is only $1, so more than worth it. So very nice. This is an absolutely beautiful album. Thinking of Chris, my local VC brother, the JC68. I know he showed this before and really likes this group. Doa, Light Upon Light. Just an incredible fusion of all kinds of global influences. Kind of in some ways similar to maybe Robbie Basho. Kind of East meets West. Yeah, Randy Armstrong and Ken LaRoche. You can see there, play a variety of instruments. You can see pictured here all kinds of strings and woodwinds. I really like what it says here at the bottom. Randy and Ken see the earth as one country, drawing their inspiration from its rich and varied cultural heritage. The music of Doa reflects their highest hope, the unity of the family of man. So just very nice. You could kind of hear that in the music. I mean, they're just bringing together all these different styles and aspects of music, and just sharing the music together. So it's quite beautiful. This next one is a great jazz find. Mike Nock Quartet. Anytime I see anything with his name on it, I pick it up without hesitation. Yeah, Mike Brecker on sax, George Mraz on bass, Al Foster drums. Excellent record, In, Out, and Around. It's from 1978 on Muse Records, or Timeless Muse. Definitely another, you could say it's like another supergroup. Just fantastic playing by all of them. The very first track and the very last one of the album are both like real kind of traditional, like real swinging songs, and everything else in the middle is more of like a kind of pastoral, impressionistic pieces. So it's really kind of nice how they're sort of blended in there. But yeah, if you're interested in jazz, which is it's kind of traditional but also contemporary and lyrical, we definitely recommend anything by him. Anything that I've heard so far has been fantastic. And I believe he's a native of New Zealand, and still playing to this day. This was a really great thing to find, and I know I've seen this shown several times. I think Jeff showed this Vinyl Spin, a buddy in Missouri, and possibly Derek and Chris. I know I've seen this quite a few times. Gil Mele, Tome 6 on Verve. It's a jazz quartet, soprano sax, bass, piano and drums, augmented by electronics. And the electronics, I thought it was going to be like a Moog record, like a Moog plays jazz, but it's actually, there's these little electronic devices that each member of the band uses that sort of augments what they're already doing on their traditional instrument. I've read the liner notes several times, and they're interesting, but it's kind of hard to grasp them totally. One thing, the soprano sax player, who's the leader of the band, uses a device which he appears to place on the end of the horn, which will play the horn, and it'll either jump up an octave, or it'll sound like it's playing underwater, or it's just very interesting. I think this is from the late 60s, possibly. I didn't find a year on it. But yeah, it kind of goes between traditional, almost like bebop, to you know, modern classical, and you know, kind of electronic tone poems. The electronics, for the most part, are used pretty sparsely. You know, even if it were all acoustic, I think it would still be a very interesting listen. And yeah, I'd recommend it whether you're a traditional jazz fan or, you know, into, you know, the more experimental electronic. This is a nice one, which I know I've seen before somewhere. El Subramaniam and Stefan Grappelli, Conversations. Yeah, duet for violinists, and yeah, two of the most distinctive violinists I've ever, you know, I've heard. This is from 1984 on Fantasy, and it kind of does sound like the time. Some of the songs are more traditional jazz and folk, and there's others with, you know, like the drum machines, and actually a lot in the way of synthesizer, you know, possibly like DX7. So it has a kind of almost like an instrumental pop feel to it, but very fun, you know, hearing them. They're so, you know, so distinctive, both of them, and hearing them kind of go back and forth. Some pieces they share, other pieces are one is on and the other one isn't. But yeah, I would definitely recommend if you're a fan of either one of them, just, you know, just for the fact that they played together. So that was very nice. This one was just thrilled about. This is like, you know how some of your favorite artists, if you see a new album by them or an album you just never had by them, it's almost like hearing from an old friend, like a letter or something. This is really what it was like. Jim Pepper, Coming and Going, wonderful late great Native American sax player and composer. Just a fantastic album. See, you can see the lineup on here in some of these songs. Don Cherry, Nana Vasconcelos, Colin Walcott, you know, John Scofield's on here. I think Mark Elias on bass, Kenny Werner piano, Danny Gottlieb drums, Hemi Drake also on drums. This is from 1983 on Antilles. Yeah, just wonderful lyrical playing. Yeah, his sax playing is just, you hear one or two notes and you know it's him, and it's like just his very soul, you know, is like being expressed through the horn. I mean, it's just the term unsung master, you hear those a lot, or you know, underrated or underappreciated. I mean, those get thrown out around a lot, but yeah, he's someone who, I don't know if he ever quite got his due in a larger sense. A lot of other musicians appreciate him, but I don't know if the public at large knows enough about him. And has all these those great compositions. You know, every song, just about every song, is like classic Jim Pepper. I really like the dedicatory notes too, to various members of his family and the musicians he played with. So yeah, if you see anything by him, I'd recommend it. This is only a couple bucks. It was really, you know, really great finding it. And, I think I have a couple more here. Oh, this is what's playing right now. Stephen Halpern, Eastern piece. I forget who showed this recently. Might have been either Dr. Deadwax or Roger Coleman. This one's from 78, I believe. Or 78, 82. Yeah, 78. Shockey Roth plays flute on here. And Sand Hersman on tambora. I love this, the cover art too, by Tom Akowi, Pyramid Sunset. I have a book by various artists I'll have to dig out and show in a video. It actually has, I think, this piece in there. Just you know, different plates of artwork in there. But yeah, this is classic Halpern from that period, from the 70s. A lot of Fender Rhodes and a lot of reverb, and just very, you know, beautiful atmospheric stuff. See, and finally here, Night Noise at the End of the Evening. Think of Ben Costello. Hey Ben, if you're watching, I don't know if you're aware of this group. Yeah, kind of a Celtic inspired, I guess I'd call it like Celtic fusion. This is from 1988 on Windham Hill. It was started by a couple of fellows, American violinist Billy Oskey and Irish guitar Michael O'Donnell. It's joined by O'Donnell's sister and a fellow named Brian Dunning on flutes and panpipes. Yeah, I guess yeah, it is kind of like a fusion of Celtic and chamber, but not exactly classical. You know, instrumental. There's a little bit of vocal. There's also some electronic keyboards, so it gives it, you know, has that more modern feel. But it's a lot like the cover. It's very beautiful, impressionistic, autumnal stuff, and you know, very relaxing. But there's also some nice up-tempo pieces. And yeah, if you like Celtic music or just you know, just good instrumental interplay, I would definitely recommend it. I don't think that'll do it for this time around. I have a few finds from way back from, some of Jeff's VCLT that I had been showing in videos and talking about kind of got mixed in the pile with some of the other recent finds, so you know, I'll get some of those together for a future video, because there was some stuff I found at another shop on the north side of town you know, quite a while back, and you know, listened to all of those, so you know, still quite a bit ahead. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well, and you know, again, keeping warm. It's been very unseasonably cold here, probably like just about everywhere in the country, and who knows other parts of the world what it's like. So yeah, until next time, take care, and peace, love, and joy.